له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له ونشهد ان لا اله الا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد ان سيدنا ومولانا محمدا عبده ورسوله. Such a congregation of our Sri Lankan brothers, mashallah. You know, I know I've seen Hassan, he lives here, the madrasa, and I know there are certain students of Billah, mashallah, attends the madrasa. But I thought that maybe, one of the families. So many youth, not from my, I was born here. It's probably many of my youngsters sitting here, they were born here as well. My parents were from India. Your parents are from another country. And there are probably other individuals who are amongst us whose parents may be from a different country. And I see an extremely valuable amount of individuals in this room. That's why Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said that, people, one person, one individual, one of you, they are like mines. Mines are like gold mines, silver mines. What do we find? That the more rare, the more difficult it is to find that treasure in the mine, and the more work you do on this in this mine, the more reward you get from it. Like a gold mine. It's very difficult, very precious metal, very difficult to find. And you have to work sometimes in difficult conditions. Silver mine, coal mine, right? Here you have slave mines in this country. You used to have coal mines back in the day. So when you work in these mines and you put that effort behind them, then you reap a reward. And I see in front of you today, very valuable people. You are extremely valuable to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. 100%. You are extremely valuable. And you might, how valuable? What value do I have? It's that value of iman that Allah has bestowed in your heart. That one individual, for example, one day you individuals, and some of you are already older than me, some of you are younger, some of you are my age, and you have children. Right? And the fact that if you will protect yourself, and you will stay steadfast on your deed, then that will mean that your progeny will also remain steadfast on deed. And it's only when we pass away and we leave this world, then we realize the value of this iman. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes mention of the verse, I mentioned it in the tafsir many times this year, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, رُبَمَا يَوَدُّ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا لَوْ كَانُوا مُسْلِمِينَ. Time and again, when everybody's judgment is done and dusted. The people of Jannah go to the people of Jannah get Jannah, the people of Jahannam are in Jahannam. Right? The people of Hellfire are in the Hellfire. The people of Jannah, they are in Jannah. Everything is done and dusted. Yeah? On the day of Jannah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bring a ram. Right? He will bring a ram. And the people of Jahannam will be asked, do you know what this is? And they will reply, yes, we know what this is. And the people of Jannah will be asked, do you know what this is? And the people of Jannah will know that yes, it's not going to be just a ram. This ram will signify death. It will signify death. So the people of Jahannam will identify it and they will know that this is death. The people of Jannah will know that this is death. And this ram will be slaughtered. And that will be an indication that now there is no more death. No more death. Death is done. Now the people who are in the fire, they will remain in the fire forever and ever, for eternity. And the people who are in Jannah, they will remain in Jannah for an eternity. So that point, what will happen is, رُبَمَا يَوَدُّ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا لَوْ كَانُوا مُسْلِمِينَ. That the disbelievers, time and again, they will wish, if only If only I became a Muslim. If only I had Iman. If only I had said La ilaha illallah. Then people did come to me. You know, the brothers, they did come to me. My father was telling me that, Iman is important. The Maulana was telling me that Iman is important. That person was telling me Iman is important. But I chose to just disregard it. And I didn't believe. And if only I had believed. If only I had believed. And today I would be in the position I am today. So respected brothers, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made us very special. Insan is very special. Allah has honored Insan. Just think about it. Just for a moment, just take one moment of your life and think that Allah has created this entire world, right? And Allah knows how many creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala exist within this world. How many types of birds there are. Insects, animals, the variation. Allah alone knows how many different types of animals and the variation of creatures reside and live within this world of ours. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says with regards to mankind, Ar-Rahman, Allama al-Quran, خلق الإنسان علمه البيان. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created insan and then He gave him this knowledge and He taught him how to speak. He taught him how to write. There are some chimpanzees and some monkeys that after years and years and years, from an age of, they will teach them, like for example, how to crack a rock. And they will say, look, the chimpanzee, he knows how to crack a rock. Wow. He knows how to solve a puzzle. But the reality is, this insan Allah Azza wa Jalla has created you and I. He's given us the ability to speak. We can communicate. We can tell our parents how we are feeling. Right? One person, he may be living in London, and this person is living, like for example, back in Dewsbury. He may make some furniture and write a set of instructions. Right? The person who receives that piece of furniture never ever has he ever seen this piece of furniture, never has he read his instructions, but he will be able to follow those instructions and make that furniture, right? Have you thought about it for a second? That from all of the creatures, how many make buildings? We are in this building today. Imagine the components within it, the lights, electricity, there's wires going everywhere, there's cement, there's bricks. The intellect behind Allah Azza wa Jalla has given you and I the intellect to make such things. And this is a simple thing. Making a building is relatively simple. Look at places like Dubai, there's skyscrapers that are like stupidly high. When you look at it, your eyes hurt. Who gives this intellect is Allah. From all of the creation, Allah has given this insan, this human, the intellect. And there's a reason for that. There's a reason for that because He is the one who is going to be judged on the day of judgment. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, today's verses which recited today, that تبارك الذي بيده الملك وهو على كل شيء قدير الذي خلق الموت والحياة ليبلوكم أيكم أحسن عملا. That glorious is Allah, in whose hands is the kingdom. And He is powerful over everything. He is the one who's created death. Allah mentions death first, because that's going to happen, remember. You can deny everything. You can deny Allah. You can deny the existence of Allah. You can deny the hereafter, but you cannot deny death. You cannot deny death. Death is going to happen. We are, each and every single individual is going to taste death. Whether you believe, whether you don't believe. And this is common knowledge, that everyone is going to die. And that's why Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam on many occasions said, you wait, and they are waiting. They'll come to know. Don't worry, they'll come to know. When the eyes close, they'll come to know. Fir'aun was the same. He denied his entire life. And when death started coming and he started seeing the angels of death, right? When he started seeing the angels of death descending, then he said, Amantu bi Rabbi Musa wa Harun. Now I believe in the Lord of Musa and Harun. Allah says, now too late. Too late. You had the opportunity, you had the chance. Too late now. So Allah is the one who's created death and He's created life. لِيَبْلُوَكُمْ. So that He wants to test you. أَيُّكُمْ أَحْسَنُ عَمَلًا. That which from amongst you, which one does the best deeds? Who is the best indeed? Not the most indeed, right? Not the most who can say the most, but the best. Most ikhlas, most sincerity. Yeah? Who is the best in doing that? So we are extremely valuable that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us iman. This one thing that on the day of judgment will be more valuable than anything else. The value of that we don't know today. Why? Because we don't talk about Jahannam. We don't talk about Jannah. We don't talk about the hereafter. It's not in front of us. Because we are engrossed in the dunya. We're completely engrossed in the dunya. Working, living our life, eating, drinking, never thinking about what's going to happen when I pass away. What's going to happen when I... The more a person talks about something, the more value you will have. For example, some people, they are car enthusiasts. Yeah? Some people, they are car enthusiasts. They love cars. Right? So if you were to bring like an old car in front of me right now, I wouldn't even know what it is. But to a car enthusiast, you'd be like, whoa, bro, that's that car. And he'd be like, he'd go crazy. Yeah, he'll want to touch it and he'll want to see inside it. He'll want to touch the wheel. And the more a person in his life has talked about that particular aspect of the car, the more crazy he will go. Right? It's true. A person who's into his, like, for example, mobile phones, right? And he knows everything about them. And the new one comes out. Let me touch it. Let me touch it. Why? Because he's got the value of that item. Because he talks about it day in, day out. This is what he does. This is what he does all day long. So to him, that phone is more valuable than the other person. So why do we not have the value of iman? Because we don't know what iman is. We don't know what it's going to do to us. It's not going to, what benefit it's going to give us on the day of judgment. In our entire life, we're just engrossed in the dunya, engrossed in the world, how we can earn more, one shop to two shops to three shops to four shops, right? One car, two cars. All day long, this is our entire life is just going to get wasted in accumulation. And just fulfilling our desires. Allah has given us the world. Yeah, Allah has given us the world. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَالَّذِي خَلَقَ لَكُم مَا فِي الْأَرْضِ جَمِيعًا. The entire world has been created for you and I. Everything in the world has been created for me and you to use. That's why Allah created it. He created it for us to use. The animals that are there, they are for our service. Yeah? That we eat them, we slaughter them, we eat them, we consume them. They're created for us. You take the name of Allah, eat. Allah did not stop us from eating. Allah is merciful. He didn't stop us from eating and drinking. But whilst doing that, we don't forget our primary objective. And I mentioned this the other day as well. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. That insan and even the jinn kind, the only reason they've been created is to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. To get connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is his primary objective. Number one priority. You don't go to work and you get a job and you have a list of things what you need to do, right? They'll tell you, okay, your first job role is, for example, if you're a delivery driver, the first job is make sure that you complete all deliveries, make sure you don't damage the parcels, make sure you do this, make sure you do that, and it's listed. All your primary objectives, they will be listed. You have to make sure this is in place, you have to make sure this is right, you have to make sure this is right. Then there will be some secondary objectives. We also want you to make sure that, for example, if you have more time, do a little bit more work. But that's optional. If you do it, then it's good. If you don't do it, then that's not your primary objective. Yeah? So what's our primary objective? Is it to eat and just eat all day and sleep all day and earn all day? No. Our primary objective is to worship Allah. That's what we've been created for. That's why we have been created to worship. But Allah is merciful. Allah is very merciful. That in our entire day, about 24 hours, Allah only wants us to, our primary objective, fulfill it 5 times a day. 10 minutes. 10, maximum 10 minutes each time. So total 10 times 5 hours. Less than an hour out of 24 hours, Allah wants to dedicate, you to dedicate to Him. So this is my dedicate to your primary objective. Normally your primary objective takes most of your time, right? Now they're asking, no, your primary objective, I only want you to take 1 hour out of your whole day for your primary objective. The rest of the day is yours. As long as you don't disobey me, it's yours. So my respected friends, it's very important that we turn back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, in this dunya, we are going to face challenges. This is a dunya. It's not a test if it's not difficult, right? It's not a test if there's no challenges. If it was a case where a person wasn't able to fail, then it's not a test anymore, is it? If the answers were just like, just there, even though Allah has given us the answers, but the only difficult thing is that we have to make sure that we have to write it out properly. Even the answers have been given, but our responsibility is just to make sure we write it out properly, correctly. So it's sometimes difficult, there's challenges. Yeah? There's loads of challenges. There's the challenges of, for example, when you go to school and you go to university and you go to work, right? You have the challenges of other people looking at us and other people judging us, right? It's difficult, 100%. For example, going and making sure that we go to our university and pray our salah, or without work, and asking the boss, you know what, I need to pray. It's difficult because they're going to start judging us, they're going to start thinking, oh, what's he doing praying, I don't know what he's going to do. But these challenges, it's not like we're the only ones who faced it. If you look at the people of the past, they faced these challenges as well. If you look at the people, in Surah Kahf, Allah makes mentions of some youngsters. Yeah? إِنَّهُمْ فِتْيَةٌ آمَنُوا بِرَبِّهِمْ وَزِدْنَاهُمْ هُدًى. That there was some young men, that there was a time that there was a king. Yeah? His name was Taqiyya, right? And he was a tyrant king. A tyrant king. And he expected every single individual in his kingdom to worship idols. And if you didn't worship idols, you would be punished. And if you worship anything other than idols, you would be punished. And you would be killed. So there were some individuals that they had iman. They had this iman, the thing Allah has given us. That special thing Allah has given us. They had this iman. And they said, nah, I can't disobey Allah. I can't worship these stones. So they refused. And then on occasion when there was a massive festival, they were hidden. Their iman was hidden. But then on occasion the king decided to hold a massive festival. And within that festival he expected all of his people to come in that festival and worship the idols. But they didn't have to attend that festival. But when they attended the festival, they refused to worship these idols and they went to the side. Yeah? They went to the side of one individual, he met with another individual. He didn't even have the courage to ask, what are you doing here? Why are you here? Another one. Till 7 individuals got together. And then they asked each other, what are you doing? They said, what are you doing? They said, what are you doing? Right? I'm here because I don't want to worship Allah. I don't want to. My iman is more important. My salah is more important. Right? My worshipping Allah is more important. Keeping a beard is more important. Yeah? These things are more important to me than what? Than the fact that worshipping idols and things like that. So they came to the side. They came to the side. And then when they went to the side, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decided to help them. So the king, he called them and he said, what are you doing? Why you don't worship idols? They got caught. And if you don't worship idols, we're going to kill you. You're going to get executed. So they said to the king, okay, just give us some time to think. So the king said, okay, you have this much time to go. When they went back, they decided, look, we can never go back. We have to leave our community. We have to leave everything we've known, and we can't go back because we can't worship idols. So they separated from everybody. Allah makes mention of that in the Quran. وَإِذِ اعْتَزَلْتُمُوهُمْ وَمَا يَعْبُدُونَ إِلَّا اللَّهِ فَأْوُوا إِلَى الْكَهْفِ. And when they did that, they took refuge and said, you know what, let's just go and hide in the cave. They put all of their tawakkul and all of their reliance in Allah. That Allah is the provider. If my employee doesn't let me pray, I'll leave the work and find something else. Allah is the one who provides. It's not my employee that provides, it's not my boss, it's Allah is the one who provides. It's not my shop is the one who's providing, Allah is the one who's providing. Today, we sell things, we do things, and we know that they are not permissible. Yeah, and we don't want to leave them. We don't want to leave those impermissible things. Why? Because we think that, you know, what will happen is if I leave them, then my income will get less. My income will get less. But the reality is, no, brother. Your income may get less, but Allah is the provider. So whatever income you have, Allah will make you suffice with that. How many people do we know, they earn so much, but they're still not able to make means. They can't even still, they can't still make a means in terms of their daily expenses. They can't meet them. They're on 30,000-40,000, we hear about it, 30,000-40,000 pound salary, and they can't still bring food to the table properly. They can't pay their bills. Why? Because the barakah is not there. Allah is the one who provides. So anyway, they went to the side and they went to the cave. And when they went to the cave, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's help descended there. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made them sleep. He made them sleep for 300 years. And not only did He make them sleep, but when they were sleeping, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it so that He would turn them every so often. Imagine if a person sleeping on the ground for 300 years, his body will rock. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would turn their bodies to the left and to the right. Yeah? So that their bodies wouldn't rot. And not only that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would make it so through His qudra that the sun, when it would rise, it wouldn't hit the cave directly, and when it would set, it wouldn't hit the cave directly as well. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's help came when they decided that no, first the responsibility is ours, that we have to say no. And we have to put that tawakkul and reliance in Allah. When we do that, then Allah's help will come. Not before. It's not like, oh, I'm going to continue doing Allah's help will come. We have to be strong. Like for example, you know, somebody is in school or in university or college, they give us, na'udhu-billah, they give us some drugs to try. Right? But we have to be the ones who are strong. We have to be very strong. That no, this is something which is forbidden. I'm not allowed to do this. And I'm not going to try this. Why? Because I don't want to disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when we do this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then will assist us. Allah's assistance will come at the time of the challenge, when we pass the challenge. And then, subhanAllah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's assistance came with it. Same with Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam. It's not like the challenges won't come. The challenges will come. But when we pass these challenges, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's assistance will come. And it is this iman that we have to protect. And I, mashallah, I congratulate Hatisab and all the brothers who are bringing our Muslim brothers together. And they've only brought this community of our Sri Lankan brothers together on one connection, and that is the connection of Iman. The connection of Iman. Respected brothers, protect this. Yeah? Protect this in your children. Today, you know, how many times we send money back home, we build a masjid here, we give money over there, we give money here, and we spend so much of our time and our effort sending money back home. And I've seen it all my life. Like my parents are from back home, and I see the generation above me, all their life they're sending money back home. Send money. And here, our children are lost, and we're thinking that we're doing good deeds. Good, mashallah. You make a masjid very good. Right? You make a house for poor people in a different country, very good. If you've got Allah's given you money, very good. I'm not saying we don't do that. But what is our first and foremost priority is the protection of our youngsters and our children. They are our sadaqah jariyah. You know, we say that, oh, you give money, make a masjid, it's sadaqah jariyah. Yes, it is sadaqah jariyah, very good. But we are building masjid here and we are using our children here, they are becoming murtad, they're leaving the fold of Islam. Our money and our time should be going behind our children. Protect them. instill within them iman, send them to madrasa, give them the knowledge of deen. Yeah? This is what will benefit us in the grave. Our children, because remember, don't think of it just as one child. You know, sometimes we think of things very narrow. When you think of the dunya, we think vast. One shop, then two shops, then three shops. Then he's thinking that I want to have an empire of 15 shops. Right? And his vision is very far. When it comes to the akhirah, our vision is very, oh, I have to protect my own children. But what about your children's children? What about their children's children? That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes mention in the Quran about al-du'a. رَبِّ أَوْزِعْنِي أَنْ أَشْكُرَ نِعْمَتَكَ الَّتِي أَنْعَمْتَ عَلَيَّ وَعَلَى وَالِدَيَّ وَأَنْ أَعْمَلَ صَالِحًا تَرْضَاهُ وَأَصْلِحْ لِي فِي ذُرِّيَّتِي. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that, Allah, give me the ability to do shukr, be grateful on the ni'mats and the bounties that you have given me and my parents. Yeah? And give me the ability to do good deeds. وَأَصْلِحْ لِي فِي ذُرِّيَّتِي. Also, rectify my progeny. Not just my children, but my children's children, their children's children. If we don't protect our own children, and remember, there's always going to be a decline. There's always going to be a decline. Right? You remember your parents, and you remember your parents' parents, their iman, their reliance on Allah. Now you look at the next generation, less than. You look at the generation that are less than that. So if we don't work on our children, if you individuals, one day you will get married, one day you will have children. If you don't have iman in your life, right? If you don't have iman in your life, if you don't have amal in your life, if you don't have that reliance in Allah in your life, what can we expect from our children? We're going to lose them. And there are communities that have come before the Sri Lankan brothers, before the Indian brothers, before the Pakistani brothers. There were brothers that came from the Arabian subcontinent. I kid you not. You look at places like Liverpool. Yeah? There were brothers from Yemen that already arrived well before us. Nothing. Nothing. Their names are not even recognized anymore. Not even an Islamic name is left anymore. Not even an Islamic name is left anymore. And I fear that if we don't work on our children, sometimes we get lost in the dunya. All day long we're out. You know, from 6 o'clock in the morning till 6 o'clock at night, all day long. Why? Because I'm doing it for my children. Oh, you're not doing it for your children. You're doing it for yourself. You think that you're doing it for your children. Our children need our time. Our children need our time. They need us to be there. Yes, we have to work. No, definitely. Yeah, we have to work. But we have to be there. We have to be observing. We have to give them ta'aleem ourselves. It's our responsibility. Sometimes what happens is, and it happens with our community as well, that we put them in madrasa, we think in 2 hours, the madrasa is going to make them into a wali of Allah. In 2 hours, they're going to become the wali of Allah. They're going to become the friends of Allah. 2 hours, all day long, nothing, no ta'aleem, put them in front of the TV, put them in front of the tablet, they're watching film all day long, all night long, they're watching film, and then 2 hours in madrasa, they're going to become the wali of Allah. Where's the sense? Where's the logic? It's our responsibility, our responsibility, my responsibility, your responsibility to work on our children. Don't get lost in the dunya. We have to, that is the dunya, we have to earn the dunya, we have to earn, and halal income is also important. But let's not get lost in the dunya, respected brothers. And I fear that in our Indian subcontinent, the brothers are coming, mashallah, we see a lot of effort. Yeah, like today, mashallah, we see a lot of effort. But if we continue in the path that we're going on, it's the same thing, it's the same story. It's not just, it doesn't happen over one generation. It happens over, we have to think of the next generation, the generation after that. We have to protect our progeny. It's very, very important. This is that iman that I was talking about at the beginning. The biggest ni'mah of Allah Azza wa Jal, the biggest thing that we have to work on is the iman. And it's our responsibility, my respected friends, yeah? That we protect this. We protect this. We have to value it. The only way we're going to value it is give it time. We have to give it time. Sit with our children. How many times do we sit with our children in the same meal? We don't even have breakfast, lunch, so nothing. One person is eating in the house by himself, another person comes, he's eating by himself. Where's the tarbiyah? How can we teach our children, right? Eat with your right hand, sit down and eat. Right? Eat what's in front of you. Make sure you don't leave. I've got children. I have a 5-year-old, 6-year-old. Every day you have to tell them, put your left hand away. And they do it all. And if I think to myself sometimes that I'm telling them every day, and every time I see them, I'm trying to correct them, don't eat with your left, don't eat with your left, put your left hand away. Imagine those households will never get taught. When they never get taught. No, one person is not to say to them, eat with your left hand. But then Iman is something, Iman is important. You're going to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Tell them about the day of judgment. Tell them about Jannah. Tell them about the ni'mas of Jannah. Tell them about the love of Allah. Today all we do is we tell our children, wait, if you mess about, Allah's going to put you in the hellfire. You're going to go to Jahannam. So all we have in front of, because what happens is, we come home, our children are saying, wait, you're going to go to Jahannam. You're going to go to Jahannam. You're going to go to Jahannam if you do that. You're all day long, we don't give them time, and we get angry when we see them doing bad, we say Jahannam. This is not tarbiyah. This is not tarbiyah. This is frustration. This is frustration. We have to tell them, Allah is loving. Allah wants, Allah loves. Look how much, when we eat, we tell them, look at the ni'mas of Allah in front of us. Look how much ni'mat, look how much Allah is so merciful that He's feeding. Even though we're not even doing so much ibadat, Allah is feeding us. When we go to sleep, tell them, make dua with them. Allah, you are so merciful. You give us so many ni'mats. Today we have a bed to sleep on. We have a shelter. All of these things, again and again, tell them about Allah. How merciful Allah is. So then, and I'll finish on this, right? When a person, right, he loves somebody, when a person loves somebody, you know what he does? He doesn't disobey them because he fears them. There is an aspect of fear as well, right? For example, you love your wife, but you also fear, right? So you don't want to mess about because you don't want to do something because you know that you're going to get a massive earful, right? But when you actually love somebody, when you really, really love someone, you don't want to displease them because you don't want to break their heart. Like for example, if I love Hafizah, he loves me, I don't want to do something that I know that Hafizah will be annoyed with me, upset with me. So I will try to not do anything that's going to upset Hafizah because I don't want him to be sad with me, right? So we should be those individuals who love Allah so much that we don't disobey Allah because of this, that if I disobey Allah, it's going to give me Jahannam. No, we don't want to disobey Allah. That same Allah is showering us with blessings every day. We are healthy, we're breathing Allah's air, Allah Ta'ala has given us food, Allah Ta'ala has given us water, Allah Ta'ala has given us shelter. There's so many individuals in my country who are suffering. They don't have food on the table. They don't even have enough money to be able to get 1 day of food. And Allah has given me, look at me, I've got a massive belly. I'm eating so much. I'm eating too much. Allah's showering me with blessings after blessings after blessings. That same Allah, I'm disobeying Him. I'm disobeying Him. How is there justice in that? Where's the justice? So we shouldn't think that, if I disobey Allah, Allah is going to punish me. Yes, we should have the fear of Allah. We should have the fear of Allah. I don't want to go to Jannah. But we shouldn't disobey Allah because why? Because we don't want to. We don't want to. That same Allah that has showered us with blessing, we don't want to make Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we don't want to displease Him because we love Him. And this is what we need to teach our children. But how can we teach our children if we're not there? If we're not there, how can we teach them? When they go to sleep by themselves. When they wake up, they go to school by themselves. When they eat, they eat by themselves. And we are what? I want to sort my kids out so they get a house. So once they're set, they'll have a house. If I'm earning, then remember, and I swear by Allah, you can work day and night for your children and you can leave a fortune behind. If you haven't taught them about Allah, they will never remember you. They will never remember you. And this country, the people in this country, they're a testament, they're a sign for us. That this is the same mentality that the people of this country have. Right? They work all their life and then they spend their pension on their children. And then what do the children do? They put them in homes. They put them in homes. And they live the rest of the days in homes. They die in the homes. And then the children, they think that, they're spending money putting them in homes. I give my parents best homes. and they go to see them once a week. On a Sunday, they'll take their children, let's go to see, granddad in the home. Ask those grandparents and ask those parents how they feel about living in that home by themselves. I swear by Allah, if they could, they would cry tears of blood. They would, because at this moment, when we had the pandemic, when we had the COVID, right? They were tortured then. Literally tortured. This is what will happen to our children. Trust me. Trust me, this will happen. If we continue with this cycle of just earning for my children, earning for my children, we'll get to a home. What good is that money? But if you leave them with nothing, I promise you, and I swear by Allah, if you don't leave them with a penny, but if you have given them Iman, if you've given them Islam, if you've given them the proper upbringing, remember, they will remember you. And they will care for you in your old age. They will care for you in your old age. That's why the poet says that لَيْسَ الْيَتِيمُ قَدْ مَاتَ وَالِدُهُ وَلَكِنَّ الْيَتِيمُ يَتِيمُ الْعِلْمِ وَالْأَدَبِ. That the real orphan is not the one whose parents have passed away. The real orphan, the orphan, yatim, is not the person whose father has passed away. But the real yatim, the real orphan, is the one who is deprived of ilm and adab. Who doesn't get taught ilm, who doesn't get taught adab, who doesn't get taught about the junctions of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, about the quality of Allah, about the greatness of Allah, about the mercy of Allah, about the day of judgment, about Jannah, about Jahannam, about Akhirah, about the grave, about all of these things. If he doesn't get taught that, he is the real orphan. He is the real orphan because he's going to grow without the remembrance of Allah. So money doesn't mean anything. Remember, money will not bring your children closer to you. It is the ilm, it is the closeness to Allah. Because if they recognize Allah and they have that knowledge that Allah is watching me, then what will happen? They will obey. Allah's telling you to look after my parents. How can I disobey Allah? I'm going to look after my parents. Why? Because Allah wants me to look after them. But if they don't have no remembrance of Allah, they have no consciousness of Allah, what's going to stop them putting you in home? What's going to stop them putting you in home? Nothing. Because they have the example of the people in this country who don't have the remembrance of Allah. They have nothing. They think that and once we pass away, there is nothing. We're going to get into the grave and there is nothing. We're going to turn into dust. Remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says to the Prophet, you wait and let them wait, they will come to you. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it so that we can protect the iman of our progeny in this country. We can protect them, we can give them the knowledge of Islam. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I pray that this Sri Lanka community, Allah ta'ala takes you from strength to strength. Allah ta'ala make it so that you become the next individuals who are the means of hidayah for the people of this country. Yeah, work, my respected people. We will make effort. Don't think, what can we do? I say that about our forefathers when they came, I was telling you stuff, they didn't know how to read even Quran. But the first thing they thought to themselves is, we have to protect the Iman. Let's put them in madrasa, make a madrasa where they at least follow the Quran. Have this vision that we need to protect our children, and work towards it. Ya Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, inshallah.